stream. Hopefully we are going to have nice games today and a lot of fun. At least what I saw, what we have on the replay list, it should be interesting night. So welcome everybody and please join us on the AI Arena stream. Cast to stream in AI Arena Discord. I will immediately start queuing up the games, so we should be able to see some nice games. Do you guys hear my voice on the stream?
I'm here.
Yeah, it works fine.
Okay, that's brilliant.
That's pretty weird that the Twitch chat messages show twice on the stream for some reason.
Okay. I'm not able to help with that. If there's anyone from the staff, can you have a look what's going on there?
Hello to Just Lasse also.
Yeah, hi.
Hello, Just Lasse. How are you doing?
Pretty well. How are you?
Fine, thank you. As far as I have understood, you're relatively new in the scene. How do you like the bot games?
Yeah, I'm pretty new. I'm start programming a few weeks ago or a few months. It took a lot of time for me, but in the end, I was able to upload a version of my bot. I think one map is also in the queue for today.
Okay, can you introduce your bot for the audience? What's your bot?
Sure. My bot is called Lissy. She plays Zerg and is focused more on the macro part of the game. So she doesn't do very much of micro, but she tries to max out with many drones, mostly about 90 plus drones, and then they overrun the opponent with Zerglings, Banelings, and some Hydras. And also spends a lot of creep.
That sounds just like a bot that might do really well on the ladder. So I wish you luck on the upcoming games and
Thank you.
welcome to our small bot community.
Yeah, also I play StarCraft myself as Zerg, and so I tries to code the bot as I would play the game.
It's quite a bit different to code the bot than play the game itself as a human.
Yeah, sure.
But it's interesting how well people are able to adapt those bots to imitate human gameplay.
Yeah, it was much easier for me because a few years ago I also was at StarCraft Student AI tournament and programmed a Zerg bot for StarCraft Brood War, but it wasn't that successfully because I never played really Brood War because I was just a child as the game started, and also my programming experience wasn't that high.
Yeah, not able to program makes the bot making quite more challenging, but you can actually do it. I started with zero knowledge on the programming and I'm still able to compete on the bot tournament. So nothing
Sure.
is impossible on the bot scene.
Sure. But it's also helpful when you understand the game. So and know how to play the game, and this helps a lot to program your bot this way.
Yeah, back in the time I did play the StarCraft 1. I never played the StarCraft 2 before starting to make the bot, so it was quite a steep learning curve for me. But if you're able to play the game, it should be way easier to start making
Yes.
the bot for yourself.
So you start programming a bot for SC2 before you actually start playing the game?
Yes, that's true.
That's quite
And
funny.
yeah, I didn't have a clue what I'm doing, so I just build up every unit available and go from there. So, well, it was fun. It's still fun. But now I know that you can actually do better if you are not researching every possible upgrade available in the game.
Maybe, yeah.
I think this is the first game for the night. So Alien Ash is a Zergbot on the top right corner, and Sharkbot doing this proxy. And for some reason, it's not attacking the Alien Ash main at all. It's just staying in the natural.
Hey guys.
Hello.
Hello, Ketrok. How are you doing?
Not too bad.
Nice to have so many people on the stream. I will continue queuing up the games, so please feel free to commentate on the going games or chat about the bots or anything like that. I will be joining you quite shortly. I just queue up rest of the games.
Yeah, so this looks like I'm gonna guess this was the gas steal into Mass Zealot thing that Sharkbot does. This is what he knocked me out of King of the Hill with anyways.
This is pretty interesting because in the games against Terran that I've seen, this third Zealots attack the main very relentlessly, and this game they're somehow stuck. Wonder what's going on.
Yeah. And with hatcheries out on the map, that means it's free for the Zerglings to counterattack.
But the Zealots make sure that the Zerg doesn't expand in the natural.
Certainly not taking the natural. But he's lost his entire main base, so these Zealots are going to have to win the game for him. Maybe one of these drones will lead them into to another hatchery to kill. I can't see how this game's going to end. He's going to lose his main base, but I don't think Zerg will find his proxy location.
Maybe. And also Sharkbot doesn't spend his money very well.
And it
True.
seems
He's
that
supply blocked, I think. Yeah, he's
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he was not supply block before and didn't spend all of it.
Okay, yeah, he must have been stuck somehow.
Obviously.
Yeah.
It's pretty common for bots that they, depending on how different authors have sort of made what they like coded what they should build, that there can be some specific order they want, and they somehow can't get the next step done, and then the bot doesn't do anything after that.
Yeah, but I see Zerglings are roaming over the map, so they find the buildings.
Yeah.
But the Zealots are good enough to at least defend the gateways. And like one Zergling at a time is never going to get through the shields on these Zealots, that's for sure.
So this might be a never-ending story if Alienage is not going to. Is he building workers more, or is it just this 24?
I think his 3 o'clock base, I can see on the mini map, it's gaining some workers. So I think he makes workers here and there.
but
He
not
loses
that
a
much.
whole ton trying to expand to his natural, though. Every time he sends a drone down there, it dies.
But the Zealots could be out of position while the Zerglings nibbling away the buildings.
Yep. Shields on structures don't regenerate very quickly either. Not the same speed they do in units.
So basically, those Zerglings can eat out those buildings slowly but surely.
Yeah.
One Zealot caught on its own too. He's gonna go
And
down.
I wonder now, Alien has got the second hatchery or the natural hatchery rebuilt, so I wonder if it triggers Sharkbot to get out of this endless loop. That now there's a new hatchery it can kill, and then it can proceed to the next stage somehow.
Well, we'll see if and when the hatchery goes down. This hatchery is soaking up all the attention of the Zealots, which means his gateways are taking some more chip damage from those Zerglings.
I don't know, they are still trying to go to the same spot, it seems.
There's still larva it's killing, maybe? Okay, kill the larva. Now what?
So there's no larva left anymore, but the game will be ending just
Oh.
now. Unfortunately, bots do have these problems, but author just needs to give a little love and attention for the bot, and after a while, it will be all gone.
I find
the
it
bots will
entertaining
be
though.
gone.
Sometimes
Yeah.
with humans, you get so far ahead that you can't lose, so you know how the game's going to end. When a bot gets so far ahead that it can't lose, it can still lose. It'll find a way.
You're quite right about that. So, just Lasse, this Lizzie is your bot?
Yes, that's mine. I think it was one of
So
the earlier versions, so I made some updates, but I think it's a bit solid now.
What makes interesting, Sharpened Edge is one of the veteran bots who has seen a lot of games on the ladder, and the author is also, he made this Sabi framework for the Python. So a lot of experience and time used on the botting there. And you're a new guy, you have been programming bots for a couple of weeks, and you are facing one of the top tier authors on the ladder. So how do you feel facing this type of bots on the ladder?
I think it's pretty good. But I also losing against some from the lower level from the bot ladder. But this is the part what I'm meaning. I play StarCraft on my own, and I know what is important for Zerg and what is not so much. And so I use this behavior to try to win the game, to max out with drones and overwhelm the opponent with stuff. So even when I trade very, really bad trades, it's still okay because I out macro the opponent.
Yeah, I
Sounds
think that's one of the
like
main. Go ahead.
sounds like a solid plan, at least a novice like me.
And that's probably one of the biggest novice mistakes is just not putting enough concentration on making workers. So, and Zerg is especially good at like really ramping up its drone count. So
Yeah, but this is quite
the
difficult because when the opponent makes army and you stand there with the overdrone, then it's easy lose.
yeah.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
that's the sort of the big bottleneck for a lot of, like there has been quite a few Zerg bots that are pretty good in different areas, but then like to get high on the ladder you have to hold quite a lot of different early game rushes, and like that can be a bit tricky maybe with, or I think it's probably more tricky with Zerg than with like with Terran you can wall off and that sort of stuff just in a normal build, so it helps a lot.
And with Terran and Protoss, you don't get the option to be greedy, or like you have a nexus and that makes your probes, and you have gateways and that makes your gateway units. But with Zerg, you have the option of putting all your production into drones if you want to, and you can get ahead economically that way. But it's also very risky doing that because you're not building any army at the same time. So it's like an advantage for Zerg, but it requires good decision making, and obviously decision making is not a simple thing to code.
Yeah, you see here, I'm every 1 minute about this, I sending a link into the main base to check the army. That I'm trying always to be on top of this, that I build as much army as I need, but not more than that.
Yeah. So has Sharpened Edge, I wasn't paying so much attention. Has it just been on one base and doing nothing? Or did
Yeah.
it attack earlier?
Yeah, well, one thing which requires a lot of time for me for programming was spreading the creep.
I think Sharpened Edge did go previously on attack, but I'm not completely sure about that.
Hi guys, can you hear me?
I can
Yeah.
hear you.
Oh, great. 2 weeks later. I
Hello,
wanted to.
Yamaha.
Yatahan, yeah. Lace, I wanted to ask you because I also started not long ago, and I'm really struggling to do all the stuff that you do. Are you using any kind of framework or something?
I don't use any frameworks. I just programmed from start.
Oh my god.
But so what do you mean exactly?
I mean,
By-
is that I think that I have been doing my bot for 1 month, and I'm still struggling to put the right amount of drones in the right base, or putting the gas geyser at the moment or when it's done, and so on, like things like that. And I see the
I can
the
help you
creep.
with that.
I see the creep, and I'm really jealous.
There's a function when you have a unit, for example, a hatchery. There's a function that returns a number of the current workers and how many workers it needed.
Mhm.
I can post you later in Discord if you want.
Oh, no worries.
Yeah, but
We'll talk later, yeah.
yeah, but maybe are you doing with what language are you using, Yatahunt?
Java. I went to the hard way.
yeah, I think
Ah.
maybe Getrock can comment better, but I think the Python API has some stuff built into it that makes it a bit easier to get started. But then, the way it seems to me that it doesn't really matter if you try to make a very good bot because you end up spending a lot of time on it anyway. So maybe the small head start coming from the Python API doesn't really matter at that point. Like a lot of the better bots are done with other languages.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I see the top five different languages. So yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the APM for
Specifically for-
Sharpened Edge.
Go ahead.
I have to say that the creep spread is absolutely brilliant.
Yes, took a lot of time to programming from this because I was struggling a bit with the performance on my local machine. It took sometimes a lot of time, but when I started on the AI arena, it was pretty fast. So I think it was some problem on my side. Maybe I used the debugger too much or something like this. It doesn't was that bad in the performance as I expected. So I took a lot of time to this to make it faster, but it was already fast enough.
You gotta watch those
Yeah.
placement queries. If you do too many of them, you'll
Oh
slow
no,
the
no,
bot
it
down.
wasn't like this. This was some other stuff. It's not important anymore.
Oh, okay, yeah. The debug stuff can slow it down too, so that can
Yeah, it
only
was the
affect you
debugs.
locally.
It slowed too much, and it wasn't. I didn't know that the debug mode slows down so hardly. And I always used it, and I was thinking, why is it so slow?
And the other thing I do like on the bot, it actually uses banelings, because a lot of the bots do not use banelings. I think the authors are a little bit afraid to use banelings, because bots are able to target fire those banelings quite easily. But when there is no banelings on the map, nobody uses the banelings, so nobody makes any code for the banelings. So I think that's one of the reasons that the banelings are quite effective in bot games at the moment.
Yeah, I see from other Zerg bots that they didn't use much Zerglings or Banelings. They're mostly based on Roach Hydra or maybe Mutalisk.
I think like if you can sort of get the, like especially if you can get your army to have some sort of decent positioning and like splitting it up and surrounding the enemy army, then Banelings can work really well even in the bot games. I think a lot of bots, they're sort of micro and stuff. It sort of works best when the one army is coming like towards the other army, and then they can sort of kite back. But if you are surrounding them, then it will
There's
work.
no way to hide.
Yeah.
But surrounding is pretty hard in my opinion at the moment. I didn't
Yeah.
find a way to
Yeah, it
do
is.
this very good.
It is very hard. I don't think anyone really does it very well, but
Paul and Rasper are trying to do it with Eris.
yeah.
You'll see these chat messages like setting up flanking maneuver, committing to flank and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they try to attack from 2 different angles at least. I'm not sure how successful it is.
The probe rush.
This was
Yeah, I think
Raf's rage bot after getting probe rushed by Tyr in the ProBots finals. He built this bot just, I guess, as a practice bot for probe rushing.
and it's doing this reasonably well on the ladder. I don't know how high it is at the moment, but I do have difficulties against the MFBS.
Yeah, I spent a few hours training against MFBS, and I was able to win every game. And then he wrote an update, and I lost every game again.
Yeah, luckily my old ProBrush defense code still works versus this. I have new code, but I'm not putting it live just in case I run into Tyr in a tournament again. I gotta save it for him.
I do have a few ideas I'm testing currently on the ladder against MFBS. Are those probes attacking the barracks at all?
One is, and the other 12 are saying, make space for me. I want to get in there too.
So this might be actually draw.
Looks like you should get it. You got a minute 30.
Yeah, but the burning gets burned down in a few seconds.
Yeah, there's the
think it's
burning, so that'll like double the DPS. Burning is probably about this equivalent to one probe attacking. Oh man, that's pretty close. No, it's down for sure. There we go.
And the next game will be Ketrock versus Chaosbot. I have to say the Chaosbot is my favorite at the moment. If nobody, if there's someone who doesn't know that.
Yeah. I did not queue up this game, so it's probably going to be Chaos Bot making my bot look silly, which is what Chaos Bot is a master of.
Yeah, that's completely true. I have lost many games against Chaosbot because it does something really, really, really weird.
Yay. So he did a worker rush.
Do you live
I
up
think the
to your
response I
command
have set
stand?
up is to mineral stack on his minerals. But he's not trying to defend. So now what happens? Now my bot broke. Okay, good. Awesome.
When your bot tries to outsmart the other bot.
Well, it's code I wrote a really long time ago before I wrote things like, chasing scout workers and speed mining and all this other stuff I've written for my SCVs. So there's probably conflicts.
Yeah,
It's probably
I
trying to do this and do something else at the same time, and it craps out. So
oh man,
I'm guessing like null pointer exception every frame or something like that. It's going on.
yeah.
Do we draw? No, he's mining, so he'll get the win. If he rebuilds, though, he doesn't have a depot.
But she's building a command center, so Sky's bot is expanding.
Oh, he does have a depot, and there's a barracks. Okay. Yeah, so this should be a slow death.
I had pretty funny games against this worker rush bot from RUF, and actually, how I end up winning one of the games, I was actually mining the enemy main with my SCVs, the long distance mining from the enemy main. So, yeah. Do you guys want to check this on the bitter end until Ketrok loses, or should we skip the game?
You can skip it.
Okay, I will skip the game. And next one will be, oh yeah, last week we didn't have Micro Machine lose. Now we have. At least I hope so.
I think I
This
beat
should
Micro
be
Machine
interesting
last
game.
round. I think I beat him last round, but I think it was more of a Micro Machine bug.
Yeah, I think that's the case.
Bomb Shaker. Wow.
I think Bomb Shakers makes a lot of here. What is it called?
Hellion Raven is what I remember him doing.
I remembering here. What? Here the Terran detectors, the flyers.
The Raven?
The Raven, yeah. I remember Raven and then mass of turrets.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think wasn't Bomb Shaker making the Raven build before Ketrok on the ladder?
Yeah, he did. I didn't think it would work, so I never tried it. And then I saw Bomb Shaker do it. I'm like, okay, it's got some promise. I may as well do it. Because that's how I play as a human player, is always Mass Raven. So I didn't think it would work in the bot world. But apparently it beat Micro Machine? Is this a Micro Machine loss?
Yeah, they should be.
Because when I've gone Mass Raven versus Micro Machine, it's never even been competitive, let alone beating him.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen in the game. I haven't seen this one. All I know, it should end up in the crash for the Micro Machine.
Crash. Oh, okay.
So whatever Bomb Shaker is doing, he's doing the right thing.
Always a win condition. No matter how far behind you are, you can always win through your opponent crashing.
Or get stuck.
That's how I won Micro Machine on the Probots one season. MindMe, the author for the additional pylons, has written a code where the additional pylon says, I don't believe in miracles, I rely on them. I do that also against Micro Machine. So we are soul brothers in that sense.
It's a huge lead for Micro Machine here. He's up, what, 14 workers, third base almost complete. More orbitals. And a nice little spot for his Banshee here. It's going to be able to pick away at the SCV count some more.
Yeah, the Banshee macros is insane.
Yeah, I mean, all the micro that Micro Machine is doing, it's absolutely insane because you can see it clearly when you're looking the results page or this ranking, and Micro Machine is at the top, and I think there's something like 100 elo to the next one. So I don't understand how the guys are actually able to pull it off to make this level of bot.
Yeah, I think this is because of the difference between human and AI. In the human ladder, it is more important to macro. You can absolutely out macro every opponent in the lower ladder. But in the bot, you can out micro other bot. You can see how much value he gets with one Banshee.
Yeah, and those Banshees, they are just not willing to die at all. Okay, we got one dead Banshee there, but I think that's it for the game. But this doesn't look good for the Bomb Shaker. I mean, Micro Machine has already 80 workers, huge army lead, and making constant pressure on the Bomb Shaker.
Yeah. This game is over. Like, he's got triple the army supply. He's out expanding him. He's got Bomb Shaker contained on the two bases, but something happens apparently. So
Have we been screwed? Is this actually Micro Machine win game? And nobody did actually check the game, so
it's
we are
certainly
showing
not a
Micro Machine.
legitimate loss. We can say that much for sure, because he's not going to be losing it from this point.
Oh,
But
fuck's sake.
you load the wrong one?
I hope not.
The Tyr is saying that Bomb Shaker will win this, but not sure how.
I really do hope so. I think the only savior for the Bomb Shaker is the Micro Machine will crash in this game.
And 20 minutes from now, so don't know how I can get it.
I know that Micro Machine had a draw on the ladder, where his bot couldn't find the last structure. It just kind of bugged out in its finale. So maybe that happens. He gets to a point where he thinks he's won. He bugs out, and then Bomb
But then
Shaker
it's
has
the
a
draw,
20-minute
not a win.
rebuild. Or this is just going to be a loss because there goes the last command center. So we know it's not a victory unless it's a crash. Maybe it's like an AI arena bug where it just gave the victory to the wrong person.
Yeah, it has to be. Oh no, we actually showed a Micro Machine win game.
Oh no,
Well,
this is the game I thought was a draw. Yeah, because he couldn't find the last structure.
It's not getting the last structure.
Yeah.
For some reason, it's skipping the last one. eBay is still there.
Yeah, you can tell his army is getting two commands. So one of the commands is to kill the engineering bay, and then the other command is like to move somewhere to the left, and that's why they're just all wiggling left and right.
Oh no.
Yeah, whenever there's a bug, there's always an engineering bay involved with Micro Machine. I still remember that
Yeah,
game where that Probots
seems-
game where he had to rebuild, and he rebuilt by building like 9 engineering bays and nothing else.
Oh man, that's a hero eBay.
Maybe we can move on and
Yeah.
not watch the last 20 minutes or something.
So
Okay.
this is a crash, not a draw. That's interesting too.
Should I skip? I will skip the game.
Yeah.
Sure.
Next game will be Anydev versus Bombshaker. Actually, I think I did send this game to the Laughing Games, so we don't actually have to check this one if you don't necessarily want to.
Fine. Let's check it out.
This is something new I wanted to test. The Marines don't have any kind of micro. They just once I have enough Marines, I just queue up the attack route and leave them die. So shoot and forget. And once the first wave is dead, I just send a new one and loop that until all the minerals are gone. That's basically the idea behind this build.
This is one base.
Just to test. No, this is not one base. At least I think, yeah, it's expanding, but it's starting with a lot of barracks and a lot of Marines.
Is it one of those no gas builds?
It will. I think it's limited to 2 refineries during the whole game. So
So you will get
just
some sort
basically,
of add-ons or upgrades.
yeah. I do have better version on the ladder at the moment from this build, but I think this was a funny game, so that's the reason this has been queued up, because the Marines are not microed at all. So only thing they will do, they will steam up if the steam has been researched, and the Marines don't have any idea what planetary fortress is, and
We're gonna find out soon.
yeah, they are going to find out, and the next wave will find out soon, and wave after that, and yeah.
But sending these sorts of marine squads not with maybe with 5 racks, but in general that it would work pretty well against many bots that expand like way too fast for the amount of units they have. That you can just go and kill the bases with like 5 marines if you like figured out that they are there.
Yeah, this is exactly the idea behind it. This is testing how it should be working, and it's working rather nicely.
Why
But
are you splitting
the
them?
current build, sorry,
Why are you splitting the Marines at the beginning?
because I do have the clockwise route around the map and counterclockwise the route on the map. So I want to cover the whole map as fast as possible to find out all the expansions what the enemy has made.
Yeah. But the Marines are weaker when they're not grouped up.
No, there's just attack command, and after that there's no command sent to the Marines except the steam if that's available. So it's only shoot and forget type of micro for the
Okay.
Marines.
But so will you win? I think you'll win this game by doing this because Bombshaker will never get past 2 bases. Or
Yeah, it gets a couple of bases, but it will mine out quite fast. And I don't remember how long the game was. I think it was like 30 minutes or something like that. But because we are going with the, I think this is 4 times the normal speed. so it will be relatively fast
Yeah.
game. But
But-
basically, we can skip this one if you guys don't want to see over 1,000 marine dying on the planetary fortresses.
No, it's fine to
Let's say
watch for
this
a
is the
while. It's a bit. Well, this is pretty. Like this is, I think, one thing that is also quite tricky for bots to code properly to sort of figure out when to go and like even if you're not playing like this, that when to go and just kill expansions and then get back and like because a lot like Bomb Shaker here, like he expands very fast, but then the unit like he has no units defending the expansions that are being built, and that goes for lots of bots that this sort of stuff would work. That if you just go and snipe the expansion and get back.
Yeah, the weakness
because
of
You
Bomb
go ahead.
Shaker is he plays on Raven, Mass Raven, and he needs to queue up a lot of energy, and he is very vulnerable before he gets to the state.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
The defenses he does have is things like planetaries and siege tanks and maybe liberators. Like all these units that aren't very good at being on the offense, they're more good at just locking down a position. So it's a very legitimate strategy when you play someone who's like turtling like this, just to deny his expansions. So when he tries to take a base, it's really hard for him, especially if you got some bio nearby to just start gunning it down as soon as he does it.
I think I won Spiny also with this strategy, or one evolution of this strategy. So it does work also against greedy circling build.
I would try it with a faster expansion and only one gas and see how it turns out. Because if you can get up to like 4 or 5 bases quickly, then these little hit squads of like 5 Marines can turn into hit squads of 20 Marines going around. This can get a lot stronger if you have a large economy behind it.
Yeah, you're right about that. I think the current evolution or the version is expanding more aggressively, not excessively. I think this version is making only one Marine, SCV at a time. So, and the new version is, I think it's not limited how many SCVs it's making at any given time.
And the
What
other
about
thing is
dark
too, since you're
raids?
killing off so many Marines, you can probably afford to go to a higher worker count than normal. Because as long as you can trade off your army and not bank resources, the more workers you get, the better. So I think for a strategy like this, you could go up to maybe like 100 SCVs and still be able to spend all your money.
Yeah, I noticed that the Marines are requiring a lot of minerals, and actually this game is really tight. The whole map will be mined out at some point, but unfortunately Marines are consuming tons of minerals, and basically the Ravens are absolute opposite for that. So
Yeah.
they're not consuming minerals at all. So the ending is rather interesting.
Yeah. If I had to guess, I would say you're dead now. Now you allow to get 4 bases, and then the way Ravens probably never die, I think that 4 bases is probably enough, even if you took the other 9. But I guess we'll have to see.
I was thinking maybe I should skip all the expansions for the other attack route that does have the planetary fortress. So the Marines would not just suicide on every single planetary fortress out there.
Or maybe if you see
someone-
a planetary, just send them back home. So they'll just keep
Yeah.
cycling around in circles until they reach a planetary.
Yeah, I think that would be the solution. For the upgrades, I think I do have only one done, because I do have only 2 Vespene available, and most of the Vespene goes to the Cyclones. They are relatively important part of the composition, because some units you definitely need Cyclone to counter some of the units to keep the Ravens at bay, and well, you just need some Cyclones.
Marines for life. Raven count's getting pretty large there. Looks like about 20 of them now.
I think that's quite about right.
Trading energy for minerals seems to be what's on the cards here. But doesn't look like Bombshaker's going to get his 5th base up. So could just be these 8 gas geysers he's got to win the game with.
Yeah, and the Ravens, I think Annie is able to kill, like, once in a while, it's able to drop one of the Ravens. I don't know, does Bombshaker have logic for the repairs? I think they are continuously fighting until they are run out of HP and they just die on the battlefield.
Yeah, looks that way. Everything I do with Ravens is when they're below 50 energy, I just keep them further back. No reason to risk taking little pot shots here and there when you can't even use them on the offense. So if I have 50 Ravens, maybe 30 of them are hanging back, and the 20 that actually have energy are near the front line, throwing down auto turrets.
But you are repairing your Ravens also, isn't that right?
Yeah, I send them back to repair. Either when they're out of energy or when they're really low.
I think with the Raven repair logic, I think Bombshaker should win this game quite easily, because, well, if you have full health Ravens against, well, tons of Marines, the Ravens will just win the game for you.
Yeah. It doesn't look like he has any logic to specifically try to clear a base either that he wants to expand to. So now that you've taken that 5th base, I don't see any way that he'll be able to get the 5th base.
Yeah, I think Bombshaker is just countering the attacking force, and because I'm just sending the Marines wave after wave, so it's spending the energy from the Ravens to counter the Marines, even though the Marines will not get the planetary fortresses by their own. So I think if Bombshaker just goes one base at a time and just takes them out, I'm losing the game really fast.
Cream cheese, you can see the upgrades if you look at the APM at the bottom. It flips back and forth between APM and like attack and armor upgrades. So Bombshaker is 222 on his mech and sky, and Annie is 1-2. His bio.
And the problem here is that you have to break the Ravens. Even when Bombshaker mines out with my bot, I broke him into 2 bases, but I couldn't break the Ravens, so I lost the game because I mined out the whole map and had no resources anymore, and energy is always generating.
Yeah, I can see how this strategy from Bombshaker is really hard to counter with the Lynx and Banes only.
Yeah, at the moment. Also, I built only 1500s for our army, so no anti-air.
But that's fun in the botting world. You are actually basically everybody starts with let's say circlings and marines and whatever, but you can add stuff one by one, and you can actually see the results, what you have done, how you have done it, and you get so much when your body's improving. It's actually super fun to do. I think Bombshaker is starting to mine out quite fast. Well, actually, Annie is also mining out because there's a lot of mules on the map, and the map will be cleared out in a few minutes.
Yeah, Bombshaker is actually going to run out of minerals before he runs out of gas. He puts all of his excess minerals into Hellions, which just go out and die. Which means he's going to be only mining gas now because he ran out of minerals, and he's not going to be able to purchase any ravens with that gas because he has no minerals left.
And what's most important, he's not able to repair the planetary fortresses anymore.
Yeah. And even without repair,
So
though,
basically,
2 tanks and a planetary with a distracting starport in the front, that's going to be hard to get through.
you're absolutely right about that.
Oh, he's finally getting some damage on this base. Oh, but he can't expand anymore because he doesn't have minerals. Never mind.
Annie got the base from Bombshaker on the lower left, and now it got another. So it's coming through slowly.
Yeah, I do notice you got some Marauders and Medevacs and Cyclones. So you got some tools that can deal with planetaries and tanks, at least better than Marines can.
Also, the Cyclones are quite nice against the Raven.
Yeah, they're okay. Ravens aren't armored, so they're not taking that double damage, but yeah, if they can hold that lock on. Yeah.
But I have to say the Bombshaker has relatively decent micro for the Ravens, because he hasn't lost so many Ravens so far.
Let's see, mined out 4 bases.
Yeah, you can see it's in the losses.
Yeah, I think I have almost double the resources lost. And Annie is mining out as we speak. And yeah, now come the SCVs because they have now nothing better to do. SCVs will soak up the damage from the turrets, and the Marines are kept alive because Annie's not able to build anymore. And well, I think Bombshaker would have won without those SCVs suiciding.
This is actually extremely close because if your army doesn't win it right here, that's game because you can't rebuild either.
Yeah, that's true.
Like just like a few more auto turrets and
yeah, it's like let's say 12 dozen of Marines, and well, that was enough.
Yeah.
Here it's the same. When you should not, when you didn't send the SCVs, you wouldn't win the game.
That might be true. The SCVs might have won it for you. They soaked up so many auto turrets in that final push.
Yeah, I think you guys are correct. And next game is Additional Pylons versus Forky Dogs 50. Forky Dogs is a new bot. At least I haven't seen the game, any games from the bot yet. And Forky Dogs is on the top left corner.
From what I'm seeing, it's just a speedling rush. And just at the timing, which is annoying for me at least.
And Additional Pylons is going with the Cannon Rush, probably. I have no idea what the number 50 means.
There are
I think-
also other bots named Forky Dogs, but with different number.
Yeah, I don't think he knew that he could update his bot on the ladder. So I think he's just been uploading a new version of his bot every time he changes it. So I'm guessing this is like version 50 of his bot.
Interesting choice for the hatchery.
Yeah, I think he's building it just for the larva. If you're not going to expand, then I guess it's a little safer to put it on the high ground.
Just crewed up 100 gas for the link speed and now a macro hatch for additional lava for the link flood.
Exactly.
But what is a Cannon Rush doing there? Nothing.
Yeah,
It
they're
didn't
just
go according to
standing
plan,
there.
I guess.
You'd be surprised how many bots would be suiciding into those cannons right now, though.
I think most of the bots.
Yeah.
No.
Forky Dogs just said, "Fuck those cannons, I'm going to kill you."
Yeah, and once he pushes in, if he can get past these zealots.
But you have to kill the cannon at least. Or at last.
Yeah. Which isn't a big deal.
I think
like this many Zerglings, half this many Zerglings could kill his
But you have to
cannons, no
do
problem.
this, and the bot can forget about this. Or
That's
even
true.
doesn't think about this.
Like originally with the bot scene, like if you built anything that was outside of the path between your
The
base and
probe.
the other person's base, they couldn't finish the game.
The probe tries to enter the natural to build a nexus there. And the zealots are blocking it. Get out of my way, zealots! I have a mission.
That's actually
I
a
want
big
to
issue
build a
for Terran
nexus.
bots. You lift your wall because there's a threat outside, and then you trap yourself in your own base. You can never get out again.
Yeah, been there, done that.
Yeah, that's actually one thing that that probably would be very hard. If let's say there were this the 4-gate rush that Scarlet had or something, that if they notice that the wall is up, if they just put those units to contain the natural, it's pretty hard to code the bot to sort of take it back very well. That's like it could like break bots completely if you just hang around at the natural.
Yeah,
that's kind of
you're
what my bunker
quite
containment's
true about
doing.
it.
Yeah, there's some bunker contains, but they don't have like the same amount of like units necessarily to sort of properly hold it. Although yours did against, was it Micro Machine or who did it hold back pretty well, but
Yeah, there's been times where it worked versus Micro Machine.
Next we are having Eris versus Turpie.
Eris is the one that attempts to do flanking maneuvers with its Zerg units.
Yeah, and as far as I understand, they have made some success with that already.
I'm not sure if this was what Rasper is talking about, but I think he said it made the bot worse. But that's usually what big changes do to begin with. They start by making your bot worse until you really iron out all the problems with it.
Yeah, like from I think was it last week or when we saw one game where they split up the army well and went around like 2 different ways to fight the enemy army, but of course there's the problem of like if you split the army and then you also have to time the attack well on both sides, that if you then go in on one side 5 seconds earlier you may just die. It's a bit hard to do it properly.
The first time we saw Alpha Star, it was doing that. It was keeping its army like spread out, like one screen away on all sides of the human player. And then when they thought it had enough to win, it would just like collapse on the human player. They had to get rid of that because Alpha Star was supposed to be doing things that humans could do, and humans cannot control micro armies on like 5 different screens at the same time.
Yeah, that's something that's really impressive with the Alpha Star, because they were able to imitate the human behavior. It's not the case with our bots, especially with the micro machine, because it's able to micro all of the units all around the map and do it really effectively. Of course, everybody's able to micro every single unit, basically five times a second, but micro machine is the best example what machines can do and what humans actually can't do.
The overlords are hiding in the corner at the top left.
Was it Overlord?
Yeah, on the top left, the overlords are hiding there. And some of them are flying into the enemy base, I think.
I think this bot uses Niduses quite often. So maybe that's his like staging ground for backup overlords here in case my front overlord gets killed. Because it looks like he's coming down the left side of the screen looking for perhaps Nidus positions.
Maybe is Aris using his Nidus?
It's made by one of the authors is the author of Spiny, and I know Spiny likes those high ground positions.
I think Eris uses Niduses also, if I don't remember wrong.
Yeah, it does use them. I don't know how much exactly, but it does use them.
I think it's a 3-base push with Roach Ravager. You can see the worker count is about 66. It's fully saturated 3-base. And then maxing out on Roach Ravager and then push into the enemy.
Yeah, the army count seems solid. I think they should be already going. I don't see any point to max out with 3 bases. Or is that something you have to do as a human?
As a human, you oftentimes do drone up to 66 to fully saturate 3 bases, and then max out on Roach Ravager, and then you can do a good timing push with upgrades. Maybe
Well, he has
he's waiting
66
for
workers.
upgrades or maxing out. Yeah, now he's attacking.
He has 66 workers. He maxed out and then he attacked. So he basically called it. I'm not sure if this is on an upgrade timing or not, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, +1 is ready, and maybe also important, of course, Roach speed. Because slow Roaches are
And
stunned.
now it's splitting up the army. It goes on 2 sides.
Yeah, it's a nice concave. It's a really good fight.
I wonder, was that intentional?
Yeah, Raspberry's in the chat saying that it's trying to flank or do that kind of maneuver. I think we saw
Okay.
one game against Yensi, was it 2 weeks ago or something, where it did a similar thing.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, yes, I remember that one. So they managed to actually make it work, the flanking.
It's gonna be a
Also,
tough
it's
break here
Burrow
though
the
with 6
Roaches.
immortals.
Yeah, this might be a meat grinder.
Yeah. Should focus more on the third base or fourth or fifth.
So basically, forget the enemy army now and just kill the workers
Yeah.
that are exposed, or actually take the bases down.
It's funny, all of his bios are landing on himself instead of on the immortals. He keeps biling himself because probes keep walking through, and then he biles the probes when they're on top of his army, and then the bios land on his own army.
Oh no, that's bad behavior.
If all those bios are on the other side of the wall, it either drastically reduce the DPS by forcing the immortals to micro back, or they will land and do a bunch of damage. But he got rid of all the probes at the fourth base. That's something, I guess. But man, now it's like, what was that, 7 immortals and 3 colossus? That's pretty scary for a Roach Ravager.
And
the-
actually, that was quite clever. Eris was droning up during the push, so he's in good economical position at the moment.
Yeah, but Tyr also has a lot of, and the third and fourth base didn't go down.
Creep is insane.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Well, the flank is really nice. I like it. Splitting up the army and coming from 2 ways.
Yeah, cut the colossus there. He's gonna get 1 or 2 of them. Ooh, just 1.
The Hydras should focus the Warp Prism.
I think Eris is doing a really good job with the flank.
Yeah, that's quite nice.
What composition should you go as Zerg, like in this kind of situation?
This position, I will definitely go Hydra, Lurker, Viper. This will absolutely destroy the army.
Yeah, because right now that seems like a pretty big problem, that the Tyr's composition was very good against what Eris had.
Yeah.
Lurkers have
we-
more range now that we switched to these 5.06 maps as well. Probably something
Also,
Zerg
Eris
should
is
look
building
into.
more roaches if they don't like. We are 30 minutes into the game and roaches suck at this point. They get destroyed by the immortals and cost a lot of supply.
Yeah, and Eris does definitely have a lot of economy behind, so it could go to something else except for the roaches.
Yeah, but he can't stop the portal spawn now.
So basically, the mistake was to left the third and fourth base alone when pushing to the Tyr main.
Yeah, he could have easily killed the third and fourth.
Yeah, but
Well,
that's
at
the
least one of them.
decision.
There were still 7 immortals, even without the ramp, which would have been difficult either way.
Yeah, Lurker would absolutely destroy the Protoss army. Lurker with the range upgrade outranges the Colossus.
Might be a little difficult to code because you kind of need to babysit the lurkers the same way Terran bots babysit the siege tanks. You can't let them lurkers be sitting by themselves too often.
I think lurkers are not that much. Doesn't require that much babysitting as siege tanks, because you can just keep them up with the hydras and burrow when enemies are near or close.
Yeah, that's true. You can be a little more aggressive with the
Yeah.
burrowing and
Also,
unburrowing as
you
well.
have the
With siege
burrow
tanks,
speed
it's such a
upgrade.
huge investment to unsiege that you don't want to do it during a fight. But you can kind of do that with lurkers, and it's fine.
Yeah, as a Terran, you want to be absolutely sure that the siege tank will not be used in the upcoming 5 or 10 seconds before unsieging.
Yeah, but with the lurkers, you can run into the opponent and burrow right onto their feet.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so depending on the army, it's not even a bad thing if they get right on top of you sometimes. Sometimes it's good for the lurkers because of all the splash damage it gets.
Also, there are no observers, so
Eris is going for some Nidus place at the bottom when Tyr is
the
attacking.
Nexus there, the third Blizzard base.
Yeah, all the other bases are covered with creep, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think third doesn't have a way to expand at the moment.
No,
That was also
unless they-
But Eris is
my bot beated Gensi bot sometimes because he doesn't clean up the creep and couldn't expand anymore.
yeah, as a Terran, I can feel the pain that Gen Z felt in that game. Especially like this type of creep spread that you had and Eris has. So this is really hard to play against as a Terran.
And if Eris is anything like Spiny, there's probably burrowed Zerglings at bases and stuff as well. Just everything to annoy you, everything to keep you from expanding.
I think we have 3 games left. This is additional pylons versus MFBS.
It's a big quick one.
Has this been written by RAF only, or have they done this together? I mean, Unusual and RAF.
I don't think it's a 2-man job. It's probably like a 10-minute job.
Yeah, I see that now once I said it aloud.
But I think it was Raph who wrote it.
I don't actually know what MFBS stands for, and I'm not sure is it fit on the stream if there's
No,
minors
then
watching
you do
this.
know what it stands for if that's your comment.
Yeah.
How's your English cuss words? Because that's all it is.
So it's interesting behavior.
So theoretically, ProBrush should be impossible versus Protoss because they can do the same micro you can, and they'll have more workers and more economy.
Yeah, but the idea of MFBS is to get everybody the experience to code against the ProBrush.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a strategy to win every game. It's a strategy that every programmer is aware of the ProBrush.
Yeah, we there was last season there was Burnish Better Worker Rush named bot, but I guess like I'm guessing Micro Machine beat that, and then Tyr's version was slightly different, and then also Getrock's defense I guess worked against Better Worker Rush.
Yeah, well, it was a little bit different versus me because Tyr coded something to take advantage of my thresholds I had set. So it wasn't really that I lost to the worker rush. I just got manipulated into my worker rush defense, so then he tricked me.
Yeah.
Against Micro Machine, he actually beat him by killing him with workers.
Yeah. But yeah, it's that
It-
like generally there's just like there was for a long time this one version of Worker Rush on the ladder, and then if people beat that one, they'd probably like didn't want to put more attention to it, and then someone else beats them with a different Worker Rush.
Yeah, there was definitely flaws in better Worker Rush that I could see. But we had Drone Drill, we had Drone, we had Ben Worker. We've had multiple Worker Rush bots just because they're so easy to write that
I
a lot
don't
of people
like
start with
this.
them.
All the rush builds.
It simplifies things when you rush. There's 95% of the game you don't have to worry about anymore. You don't have to care what your opponent's doing. You don't have to care about mid and late game tactics.
Yeah, one base builds are very like they are like last season we saw both Scarlet and Fidolina had like they were very high up because if you do a well executed one base attack, you also sort of by accident take care of like defending against opponent one base attacks. So then they get very high up on the ladder pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm. Now they did something special to make it happen. It's not just like any one base attack will get high on the ladder.
No, it's like they were very hard to defend, but also that like when you do a one base attack, you also end up defending against a lot of stuff by doing that sort of style.
Yeah, it does look like Observer's bugged. Observer may not consider workers to be view worthy because they're rarely attacking. But I don't know why we got stuck over here.
Yeah, I think you're right. If the workers are attacking, it's not counted as an interesting thing to happen. So basically, there's nothing interesting to happen. So it just stands here.
But
we
it
were
was
watching
always
the
following
fights for
the
a long
fight
time.
before.
Yeah.
Sorry?
The probes fight before was always tracking them.
Oh, this draws? Okay, I'm gonna skip. He's not able to kill the Nexus? The Nexus is flashing.
It's not getting enough damage, I think.
Let me hop on TeamViewer, change the where we're watching.
Maybe
Wanna
not
see what's
enough
going on here.
damage before the game end.
Like 2 probes should be able to do enough damage. So he's got like 12 there. You would think
But
that
it's
would
not
be
attacking.
enough.
You can see in the chat.
But I can see
I
them
had
flashing on the minimap. It's only
I
one's
did have
attacking. One is attacking and the
Not
rest are
even
just
once.
watching.
He's stepping behind.
So like I
Okay.
could tell on the minimap it was being attacked. It was just apparently only by one probe. Well, there you have it. All right, I'm gonna
Interesting
skip to the
behavior.
next thing.
Yeah, skip this one. Let's go to the next one.
It's funny.
Yeah. Next one is there's 2 games left. There's Bud versus Eris, and last is Sharkbot versus Whalemean.
Yeah, this game that I queued up, it loses some of its sort of shine by not showing chat messages, but it has a pretty funny moment in the game where I attack and Eris is leading my army around the map with a single circling, and then he all chats that setting up a flank, please stay still or something like that.
Eris is number 7 at the ladder at this moment. And Spiny, one of the authors is number 4. And who was the other author for the Eris?
Paul. Paul does the bot. I'm not sure what all the builds Paul had, but it does the Nidus rush at least, like a 2-base Nidus thing attack.
Wasn't Paul doing that in the Pro bots at some point?
Probably, yeah. It was quite high. Paul was quite high up on the ladder at some point, like some months ago.
Yeah, I think so. But the ladder is constantly changing because the community is relatively active. So if you're building a winner bot that goes, let's say, in the top 10, if you stop there and you come back after 2 months, you will not see your bot in the top 10 anymore. I think the only exception is the Micro Machine. If they left the Micro Machine alone, I think it would still be in the top 10 after 2 months.
Maybe after 2 years.
Yeah. Although,
Yeah, I think that's more realistic.
so Fidolina hasn't updated mixed breed for over 2 months now, and it's still number 6. Like it does very well. Like I'm guessing that Terran win rate is probably very high because of it uses the Dominion dog builds, but then also a lot of the Protoss and Zerg attacks are not so easy to hold. Like many bots don't hold them necessarily. But yeah, soon, I think within a minute we see what happens in this game. For the reason I queued this up. I wonder if the observer shows it. Hope so.
I can see that on the minimap there's changeling going over the map.
Yeah, now my army is starting to move out, so the goal is to do a so-called timing attack, but you see what happens in this. Like the pathing is not exactly optimal. One Ling is, my army is chasing the one Ling on the edge of the map.
Oh no! So basically, the one Ling is mind controlling the whole army.
Yeah. If you see on the minimap, it even goes behind the mineral line there on the top edge of the map, and then around this time, Eris says that setting up a flank, please stay still. But still, I end up winning this game because like it's a pretty good position for me to fight by accident. But that was
and
very.
I think Eris biled himself again.
Yeah, it's about those piles hit my units. I don't know. What about the earlier?
So basically, if Eris is running around the circles with the one circling, it could just come to your main and kill you.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if my army would like change targets at some point because the thing is just so close that they like. Of course, I could just steam one marine and go and kill it, but I don't do that. So and so I end up just chasing it around. So it's not very ideal. But yeah, I think probably if it would run in circles, my army would probably follow it. Of course, it might die if some other units come. like reinforcements come and cut it off from some other angle, but
Yeah, okay.
yeah, there's nothing particularly strange about this game anymore. It was just that one moment.
Yeah, I think we can skip this one if you guys want.
Yeah, you can skip it. I think it's over.
I will skip the game this time.
Yeah, the 2-base tank marine push is pretty hard.
Yeah, seems to be working quite nicely. This is our last game. I think it was. I don't remember who it was. Shark Nice?
Sharkbot versus Whaleman, maybe?
Yeah, Whalemean is the same authors, Random Bot, and I guess they play the same
okay.
race. So not sure who wins.
Immediately 2 drones going out on the map for the Sharkbot.
Oh, I see.
I presume Whalemean is doing the similar thing.
Yeah, this is
What?
the proxy sellout for both bots, I guess.
So his random bot pulled Protoss and then chose the same Protoss build as his Protoss
Yeah,
bot.
and they are both stealing the gases also.
Surprisingly, their timings are different.
There could be some differences in the strat.
Yeah, because Sharkbot stole the gas and Whaleman not.
Oh, you're right.
I think Whalemean did also steal the gas, but Sharkbot was able to clear those extractors.
Oh, he pulled
Also,
all of his workers on it?
yeah,
If that's the case, that's going to ruin his economy. Okay, so they're both going to lose their Nexus.
Yeah, but
So this is going to be a base race.
Whaleman has more zealots.
Yeah, because Sharkbot pulled all of his workers.
And also steal the gas, so less mineral.
Okay, the Zealots are going to come back to fight. So if he's distracted by the structures, maybe Sharkbot can win
Oh, he
with
goes
less
for the buildings
Zealots.
on the left side. When he's able to kill the gateways before the assimilators falls. But I think Sharkbot will win this. Whaleman.
Oh, it's close.
Yeah.
This is really close. Yeah, but Whalemean will take the game. That was brilliant. Thank you everyone for joining, especially Yatahunt and Just Lasse. It was great to chat with you guys. So in the future, you are more than welcome to join us on the stream.
I hope I can write a update for my bot until then.
Please share the replay if you manage to do something new, because it's always interesting to see how the new bots are developing. And yeah, see you guys next week. And yeah,
Have a good evening.
night, everyone.
yeah, bye.
Bye bye.